All right. Big Premier League matchup this weekend, huh? Crystal Palace taking on Arsenal.
Oh, yeah, definitely a big one, and especially coming off that midweek EFL Cup game.
That's right. They just played Wednesday, the EFL Cup quarterfinal.
Mm,
Arsenal just eking out the win, 3-2. So I imagine
yeah.
Palace wants a little payback here.
Yeah, a lot on the line. I mean, obviously you want to win every game,
Right.
but I feel like especially after a close loss like that, you
Mm-hmm.
really, you're going to be up for it, especially at home.
Yeah, it's got to sting a little bit, you know?
Oh,
You
yeah.
score first, you're at home, you think you're in a good spot, and then...
Yeah, and I saw some quotes from Oliver Glasner, the Palace manager,
Right.
and he was saying that he felt like they showed Arsenal a little too much respect
Oh, interesting.
in that game. So I think they're going to come out with a bit more of a...
So a little more aggressive, a little more on the front foot.
Yeah, I think so. They've got to be the underdogs going into this one.
Yeah, well, and their record at home this year hasn't exactly been, like, setting the world on fire.
One win at Selhurst Park.
Yeah,
You're not going to go too far with a record like that.
not in the Premier League.
Yeah, Premier League is tough.
But, you sent me all these articles, and you look at their form over the last 2 months.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right?
I think actually pretty solid.
It's not all doom and gloom for Palace. They've only lost one in their last 8.
Yeah. 3 wins, 4 draws, so
Yeah,
it's not terrible. And they're coming off that good win against Brighton last week.
that's right. 3-1 at Brighton. Not an easy place to go get a win.
No, not at all.
And to do it convincingly like that, I think that's got to give them a lot of confidence.
Yeah. And they haven't had back-to-back wins since May.
Oof, yeah, that's not a good sign.
So maybe this is the turning point for them.
Could be, could be.
Now, Arsenal, on the other hand, I mean, we got to talk about their situation.
Top of the table clash, kind of.
Well, they're 6 points back of Liverpool.
Yeah, and they've played an extra game, too.
That's right. So, I mean, every point is massive at this stage of the season,
Yeah, they got to be feeling the pressure a little bit.
especially after that goalless draw against Everton last week.
Yeah, that was a tough one to swallow. You figure that's a game they should be winning.
Exactly. You look at their away form.
It's been a bit suspect.
Yeah, just 1 win in their last 6 on the road.
That's not the Arsenal we're used to seeing,
Right, and that's got to be concerning for them.
especially when you consider they haven't kept a clean sheet away from home in their last 6.
Oh, wow. That's a long streak.
Yeah, longest in 5 years, actually.
So maybe there's a little bit of a vulnerability there that Palace can exploit.
Possibly, yeah. But here's the funny thing.
Okay.
Despite all that, they're still undefeated in London derbies this year.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
7 wins, 2 draws, and they could be the first team.
Since Chelsea in 05.
Yeah. To go a whole calendar year unbeaten in London derbies. So
TikTok.
it's weird how they can be so good against their London rivals, but
But struggle on the road against other teams.
yeah, it makes you wonder, what is it about those London derbies
Right.
that brings out the best in them?
The psychology of sport, it's fascinating.
Absolutely. And then you've got some interesting player narratives in this one, too.
Oh, yeah, Eddie Nketiah, right?
Yeah,
Former Arsenal player, now at Palace.
right. And he scored against them in that cup game the other night.
He did. But other than that, he hasn't found the back of the net yet.
Not in the Premier League, no?
So maybe he's saving them all up for this one.
Maybe so. It's always a little extra motivation to play against your old club.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And then, of course, you've got Gabriel Jesus on the other side.
Oh, yeah, he's been on fire lately.
Hat-trick in the cup game.
Yeah, and he just loves playing against Palace.
He does. 10 wins, 2 draws, and only 2 losses in his career against them. So,
Gonna have their hands full trying to contain him.
oh yeah. He's a tough one to mark, that's for sure.
He really is. He really is.
Anything else that jumps out at you from these articles?
Well, there's one kind of quirky stat about Palace's home form in London derbies.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
In their last 7 at Selhurst Park, they've alternated between wins and losses.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that weird?
So a win, a loss, a win, a loss.
Yeah. So they lost their last one against Fulham, which means
According to the pattern,
they're due for a win.
they're due for a win. So maybe there's something to that.
You never know. It's football. Anything can happen.
Well, that's what makes it so much fun to watch, right?
Exactly. You just never know what you're going to get.
So, big game, lots of storylines.
Big implications for both sides.
For sure. You think about it, Palace They need this win,
Yeah, they got to start turning those draws into wins, especially at home.
especially at home. Exactly. And Arsenal, I mean,
They got to keep pace with Liverpool. They can't afford to drop any more points.
they need to figure out whatever's going on with their away form.
Yeah, that's got to be a concern for them.
So much to watch for in this one.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be a cracker.
I think so too.
So as you're watching this weekend, here's something to think about.
Okay.
Which team do you think has more pressure on them?
Oh, that's a good question.
Is it Palace to finally get that big home win? Or is it Arsenal with the title race heating up?
Really makes you think.
That's all the time we have for this deep dive, but
Enjoy the match.
we'll be back next week to break down all the action.
See you, Len.
Until then, happy watching.
Cheers.